Hello all. Today I'm hopefully going to finish this up. We don't have all that much left to do, but I looked up a couple of loose ends I still have to take care of. Our first order of business will take us back to the Crystal Peaks real quick. It shouldn't be a long trip. It'll be longer if I forget the way to go. We are just about fully kitted out, so the only thing really left for us to do is take on a couple of optional bosses and find a couple things. We do have one more dreamer to take care of, so we should probably do that first. I'm just going to the Crystal Peaks because it's kind of close to where we started. I missed this my first time through because at any given time while I'm streaming this game, I'm probably half asleep. You have to time this sort of carefully. Fortunately, you can hold a crystal core charge as long as you want. Our reward for coming down here is the Deep Focus badge, which increases the amount you heal when you focus. It's marginally useful. Alright, I believe the fastest way to get out of here and back to a tram station would actually be through the Dirtmouth exit, so let's get hit by spikes and then go there. Really long, uninterrupted crystal core dashes are a lot of fun to do, though there aren't that many places where you can do them. That's probably the longest uninterrupted dash you can do. I guess since we came all the way out here, we can pick up some lifeblood. Oh, while we're here, let's check out a certain secret that was added in the Forgotten Dreams update. It seems that Greta has found a new person to fawn over, and that's perfectly fine with me. Though this might be a little excessive. This is the Grey Prince Zote, the somewhat idealized version of Zote that Greta sees. He's pretty tough, as opposed to the actual Zote, who is basically just a gimmick. The main difficulty in this fight is that, for his size, Zote moves quite unpredictably, and he does love his shockwaves, as any good video game boss should. As the fight goes on, his jumping becomes even more erratic. Sometimes he'll actually fall through the floor. The best opportunity to hit him is probably when he does his little sword flail. However, damage can pile up quickly. He can also cover a lot of ground quite quickly, and his random falling down is actually really annoying to deal with, because it creates shockwaves. He's not the hardest boss in the game, at least not right now, but he's not easy either. I hate having to use that time to heal, but it's really the only safe time to do it. Oh, I beat him on my first try. That was unexpected. For a marvelous victory, we get quite a bit of essence. Since that technically was a dream fight. You can actually refight the Grey Prince Zote as many times as you want, and it becomes more difficult each time. If you're into that sort of thing. I am not particularly. Our next order of business is to take care of the final dreamer, who resides in the Fog Canyon. We have all of the stuff that we need to actually get through that area without much issue, so there's no time like the present. There's a couple of miscellaneous things that I also want to take care of here. Oh wait, this is to the Queen's Garden. My mistake. I need to go up one more. As usual, when traversing the Fog Canyon, it is better to just avoid enemies than fight them, because explosions kind of suck to deal with. Now that we have the Shade Cloak, it's actually much easier. You can just sort of dash under their tendrils without taking damage. More lifeblood up here if you need it. And a Hallownest seal. You can take a lot of damage in this area, like so. So it's not a bad idea to stock up while you're in the area. We missed this area our first time through because, as usual, I was afraid of triggering anything I didn't want to trigger yet. The overgrown mound is somewhat similar to the stone mound, though it's much more well lit, and I don't believe there's any warrior fights. There is a little challenge room, though. I think it's mostly just these mosquito things. These fellas weren't particularly threatening when we first encountered them, so now they just go down in one hit and aren't much of anything. We have more geo than we could possibly use at this point, I'm pretty sure. Like all the mounds, there's a spell inside here. Howling Wraiths is a fairly situational ability. It's probably your best anti-air option, and it does quite a bit of damage if you can hit it. However, it has very little application against enemies on the ground, and it does take up quite a bit of your soul meter, so use with caution. Now, we do want to go back to the Queen's Gardens today eventually, but like I said, we should take care of this dreamer first. Ow. Ow. You can barely see those things on the pink background. I'm annoyed. I'm breaking my own rules, don't worry about it. I'm just getting journal completion, it's fine. Oh, I overshot. I always overshoot! I wish this game had a mini-map sometimes. It can be a little disruptive to just, have to open the map every time you want to look at it. It does take some time and it slows down your movement. You don't have to worry about explosions if you have invincibility frames from already taking damage. The Teacher's Archives is another sub-area like the Beast Den and the Watcher's Tower. I'd say it's probably the most involved of the three. There's all sorts of opposition in the form of jellies and whatnot in here. So, as usual, it's best to ignore the big ones so that they don't blow up on you. The way the archives are arranged are a little strange. Also full of hazards. There's also something of interest up in that corner. I might just have to break my own rule and take cover. One of the nice things about the Explodey guys is that you can sort of cause chain reactions. Well, that was mostly gibberish, but I suppose if these are archives, it makes sense that there would be messages of some kind here. The map also told us that there is a grub friend in here, so we should not spare our efforts to look for them. Actually, can I... No, okay. This area is mostly vertical. It's sort of like arranged into squares. Umu is an interesting boss. Its primary method of attack is by sending the electric butterflies at you. It does so in two patterns. One, it sets up a set pattern that you need to stand still and avoid. Other times it chases you. Fortunately, since we can't really seem to hurt it, Quirrell comes along and helps us. We just have to buy time until he can do his finishing strike and make it vulnerable. You can tell when that is because he does a little kasa yell. You can tell when Umu is attacking because it starts glowing even more intensely with electricity. Once Quirrell arrives, this is actually a fairly easy fight. It's not too difficult to tell which pattern of electric butterflies he's using. And his only other method of attack is just trying to run into you, and he's not very fast, so... And that's done. Quirrell is quite a helpful fellow. Now we just need to find out where he went. There's all sorts of snippets of information here that make varying degrees of nonsense. Ah, here's something I was looking for. The electric butterflies are called charged luma flies, and since they are not targetable, you have to get their journal entry from a different source. Also need to find my grub friend. He's in here somewhere. Just can't remember where. I'll find him eventually.
C'est क्या Machipuri? Ka Lakma. Ben lupa nako din.
Monamon is the final dreamer, and one that seems to be most on board with the idea of just not doing this whole thing anymore. It's also worth noting that Quirrell's second mask was a mask of Monamon's mask. Mask. Oh, actually, I should read her mind real quick. With her death, the seal is fully undone.
Dos Dakagando. Dos Dakagando.
So, with some help from our longtime friend Quirrell, we managed to complete our task here. Well, almost completed. I still need to find the grub. Where are ya? Oh, maybe it's not actually inside. Maybe it's outside. It sort of looks like that on the map. We can re-enter whenever we want, so it's not a big deal if I go back out and then come back in. I think I've exhausted pretty much everything that's in here. I will be glad to leave at very least. I hate these jelly type enemies. They're so much of a pain. Alright, let's see if we can find the grub outside. Hear him. I just need to find the right way to get to him. Probably involves a dash. So it did. Let's check the world map here. We're almost, I think, completely done with rescuing grubs. I think there's only 1 or 2 left. In fact, I think the only one that's still left on our map is in Greenpath, which is actually pretty close to where we are. That can be next on the agenda. Though there is one more secret to find in the Fog Canyon, and it's actually kind of difficult to get to. Not a fan, but we'll struggle through. It's actually a good idea to make a quick stop to the fungal waste. The upcoming challenge I'm about to undertake is quite dangerous, and it's useful to have a nearby bench. Say as I get my butt kicked by Lumaflies. Alright, so this place is chock full of things that explode on you. The best way to deal with it is to avoid the eggs that are glowing orange and use cover to take out the big jellyfish. If possible. Sharp angles also work, if you can manage that. Whoops. Not quite what I meant to do, but it'll work. You can use Shade Soul to clear out some of these without putting yourself in too much danger. I would recommend doing so. Our reward is the final charm notch. And one more explosion for good measure. You now have all of the charm notches in the game, if I'm not mistaken. All we need to do now is find our way to a stag station. Without dying, if possible. I walked right into that. That's where we fought the brooding Malek. Just need to make a quick detour to the green path, and then I think we'll have all of the grubs. I think. Like, I'm pretty sure that the map will show all the grubs to you, regardless of whether or not you've actually visited the area. So if there's no more on the map, that should be all of them. One wonders how I missed that the first time, to be honest. Seemed to be kind of right out in the open there. Maybe I needed double jump? Or dash? Dash, I think. I guess I just didn't revisit the area after I got dash. I was remiss. Alrighty then, we have a couple more places we need to visit. Alright, since we have the Grubberfly's Elegy now, we have actually rescued all the grubs in the game. And enough Geo to retire in style.
Pechurona. Omanta duble. Bis manama boblis. Bis boblis pera.
We almost have all the charms, too. Alright, where is it? Grubberfly's elegy. Oh, it takes 3. Well, honestly, since we have so much damn Geo, I'm fine with taking off Gathering Swarm. With it equipped, we fire sword beams, though only when we're at full health, so it's not game-breaking or anything. It's sort of an underwhelming reward for doing all of that. Now that we've gotten all the maps from Cornifer, we can find him snoozing at his home. Zelda looks just pleased as punch. Onward to the next destination. There are 2 more dream... Well, actually, there's 3 more dream fights that we need to attend to. Though one of them I have not done before. The beams are slightly weaker than the actual sword swipe, but that's mostly fine. You can really machine gun them out if you are so inclined, especially with the quick slash equipped. I guess since we're here, we might as well just do this, get some more essence. They love to put it in these big open rooms where I have to jump around a lot. Not much to say, just collecting some orbs, as one does. Made much easier with the double jump. Are there any orbs hiding? Yes, there are. How devious. Alright, looks like we're done in here. Alright, we need to go down. Our next errand takes us back to the Soul Sanctum. A much less difficult place than when we first encountered it, to be sure. Now we have spammable projectiles. Sometimes. He found my weakness, hitting me in the face. Still, when all goes to plan. You can actually sort of do a double tap with your sword beam if you space yourself correctly to the enemy. It's probably the most damage you can do. I missed this area on my first time through. I'm not sure if you need the double jump to access it or not. Either way, we find the Spell Twister charm, which reduces the soul cost of all your offensive abilities, which is actually really sick if you want to use a lot of spells. This is our next order of business. There's another dream fight to take on here. This is the Soul Tyrant, an upgraded version of the Soul Master. Naturally, he's faster, and he attacks more quickly. His jumps have shockwaves. He's not as easy to lead. The damage can really pile up, but like his original incarnation, there are a number of opportunities you have to safely hit him and heal. He's also somewhat weak to just being aggressive. Oops. He also loses his breath, just like the normal Soul Master. It's not too different of a fight, honestly. Like, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it doesn't demand that much more of you than the original version. Shade Soul helps a lot. You can dash through a lot of his stuff because it doesn't have a huge hitbox. He does like to fake out on the jumps, though. Just like he did in the first fight. It can sort of be difficult to see his projectiles because of the background. I would recommend going into this fight with a fully upgraded nail. He has a lot of health. And he can be kind of elusive, so it's difficult to just, like, jam damage on him. He'll also do the desperation dive thing, just faster. Of course, it's not too hard to finish him off because he stays still. And since the dives don't have shockwaves on them, you just dash out of the way. He'll eventually tire himself out and start using projectiles, and then you just wail on him. He doesn't have the glorious fake out of the original, though, which is sort of a shame. With that, our business in the Soul Sanctum is concluded. I'm gonna go ahead and use my dream portal again real quick because I want to go talk to the seer. We've gathered quite a bit of essence since we last saw her.
Dilesakan.
So, we have just completed one of the major flags to getting the true ending, the Awakened Dream Nail. This will let us do a couple of specific things. Though we will need to go to the Ancient Basin to do them. I'm going to change my charm setup a little bit. Grubberfly's Elegy is fine and good. It's not too great in boss fights where you'll take a lot of damage. What do we want here? Maximum DPS, I guess. We need to head back to where we fought the failed vessel. We actually dipped our heads into this fight a little bit last time, but I didn't feel quite confident enough at that juncture to take it on with what I had. So let's try again. Oops. That was foolish. Anyway, the Lost Kin is, as you might expect, an upgraded version of the broken vessel, sorry. He summons more friends, he moves faster, he attacks more often. He's harder to heal against. The air is very dangerous because he can jump so quickly. Now, the reason why I equip Fragile Strength is that you don't actually die when you fail in dream fights. Just trying to remember the quick way to get in here. That was almost it. This would be an easier fight if I came in with full health. Is there anything I can hit over here for some soul? No, probably not. I will have to live with my foolish actions. That went better. I don't want to say that the Shade Dash is mandatory for this fight, because I have beaten it without it, but it helps a whole lot. The brief iframes that you get are just incredibly helpful. Because the flying guys afford so little chance to heal yourself, an all-out aggressive stance on this fight is probably for the best. Which is why Fragile Strength is good. Though I should unequip that at my earliest opportunity. Because I don't want it to break. That would be annoying. the fragile charms are naturally extremely helpful on the Steel Soul runs where you can't die at all. Not that I would know. I haven't been brave enough to try one of those yet. Let's put something more generally useful on. Oh, I should have put the sports rooms on. That did a number on those flying guys. Oh well. I won. That's what's important. I guess since we're in the area, we're also going to do something a little bit strange. The idea is that we want to have as many lifeblood hearts as possible, so we equip specialized charms that maximize that and turn our entire health gauge into lifeblood charms. This can be useful in certain circumstances, like fights where you just don't expect to have any chance to heal whatsoever. But mostly it is for unlocking a secret. If you approach this dice with 15 or I think it's 15 or more lifeblood hearts in your possession, you will unlock it. Despite the fact that this area is like associated with health and stuff, it's still not particularly amenable to life because of all the damn spikes. It's also a little dark, so you need the Lumafly lantern. Though, at this point, you really should have that by now. I'm not even sure you can get this far without it. Hell, that was the wrong way. For our troubles, we get the Lifeblood Core. This is the last charm in the game. It also locks you out of that area, and I believe there are a couple of arcane eggs you can find in there, but honestly, we have so much money I didn't even want to bother looking for them. Geo is not like Soul. It's not like you can scale infinitely with enough of it. You run into a point in this game where you simply can't buy anymore that is particularly useful. With the possible exception of repairing fragile charms and or getting your shades back for free. I'll get to this guy in just a minute, but now that we have all the charms in the game, we should visit Salubra. We should also change our charms. Maybe see what Lifeblood Core does. Basically, this provides you a regenerating Lifeblood Core shield on top of your normal health. It's pretty strong. It's pretty strong, but it's not very fast, so its utility is limited. There's definitely a case to be made for using it, but there's also a case to be made for just going for more offensive charms and killing things quickly. Resting grounds next. I think we have enough essence. I don't think we'll get a reward for it, but hell, in for a penny, in for a pound. The only thing we really get for completing the quest is, another person dying and a little bit of lore about what is maybe going on here. Next up is the Forgotten Crossroads. Fortunately, Salubras is not too far from the Sagway, even with the blockages. I'm unsure how the Lifeblood charms interact with Grubberfly's Elegy. It might be because you don't have any mask to start with, it just counts you as at full health all the time, even after you've taken damage, so maybe that's a combo. Oh, right. We actually need another charm first. It's a little misleading. I miscounted, I'm sorry. Oh well, we needed to talk to the seer anyway, I guess.
Go on, Amane Churo. Dos Dakugando.
This is where Kurl ends up after you defeat Momonon. He just sort of chills out at this nice blue lake for a while, and we can sit with him. But duty calls. You have to find that last little bit of charm. And get blown up a little. Now, there is one more dream fight that we can do. I'm not sure if I'll do it today. I haven't done it before, and I'm not sure I want to spend the time to learn it, because dream fights are pretty hard. But that sort of illustrates the fact that with the Forgotten Dreams update, There is more than enough essence in the game to not have to do everything to completely max it out. Which is nice. I like that they give you a little bit of leeway with that. And you don't even need to max it out. To get the Awakened Dream Nail, you really only have to do up to 1800. We're back in the Queen's Garden now to clear it out once and for all. We explored it quite thoroughly before, but there is one more thing we have to do. Something we couldn't actually do until quite recently. You may recall this black barrier. We can now pass through it. We have to deal with some more of these strange variety of mantises. But given how kitted out we are, it shouldn't be too difficult. Oh, hello. Cloth is here to help us out because I somehow managed to do her quest correctly. This fight is the Traitor Lord. A bit like the Mantis Lords, except there's one of him, he's big and he's angry. And he does not give us the chance to just challenge him like a civilized bug. No, no. Unfortunately, he takes Cloth with him. I think maybe if you defeat him more quickly, you can prevent that. I'm honestly unsure. I've never actually completed that quest before. I'd have to check the wiki. Still, with Cloth's health, that is a fairly easy fight, and even without it, I don't think I died the first time. He's just a big mantis. It's not a big deal.
Ako mania.
The reward for all of this rigmarole is talking to the White Lady and getting 1/2 of a certain charm.
Elare. Elare. Llaneros.
At any rate, our visit to the Queen's Garden is concluded, and the White Lady is, by all indications, the Queen mentioned therein. I do sort of wonder how she got past the Black Barrier. I guess since she's a burrower, she just sort of made her way through the undergrowth. Anyway, we just need to make it back down to the station. Then we can do a part of the game I'm not especially fond of, to be perfectly honest. Whoops. I am more well equipped this time to deal with it, since I know what to expect, but I still dislike it. We need to head back to the hidden station and finally deal with that conspicuous corpse that we couldn't enter with the dream nail before. Now that it is awakened, we can enter without issue. However, this dream world is quite a bit more elaborate than the other ones. It is sort of just an area unto itself. And it's pretty hard. To begin with, you have to deal with these things. They're heavily armored, which usually means you don't get soul from striking them, which can be a difficulty. As you might have guessed, the White Palace is a sort of memory of what the palace grounds used to look like. Though, as you can see, it's a little bit dilapidated and ethereal. It's also home to some pretty difficult platforming challenges. It sort of requires you to have a fairly firm grasp of how to bounce off of enemies and do wall jumps and stuff. Certainly it's a very visually striking area, and for that I can't fault it. Another one of these guys. They're not too difficult. They don't attack very quickly. They do a lot of damage, though. Just getting up in their face and wailing on them is probably the best way to do things. Our goal throughout this area is to hit those switches. They will open the path forward. As far as I'm aware, there's no secrets or collectibles in the White Palace. Presumably, since we bear the king's mark, all of these royal bugs think that we are the king, even in a memory. You can use the dream nail within a dream to read their minds, but it's not particularly elucidating. Alright, the time has come. First things first. Wayward Compass, all this doesn't matter. We need something else. We are going full survivability. The eventual goal is to get up that elevator, but first we need to find the switches that open it. And to find the switches that open it, we need to find more switches that open things. Welcome to Super Hollow Knight. This area requires a great deal of timing, perseverance, and platforming know-how. It's a really jarring change from what you've been doing. And I sort of need to get my feel for it back. I vaguely remember what I need to do. This is why we have gone full survivability, by the way. There are no enemies in this segment, so there are very limited ways in which we can actually recover soul. Given that you will probably take a lot of damage here, because it's difficult. Having some extra health on hand is probably going to help you a lot. Trying to remember how to do this. The timing is tight and the solution is not always obvious. Now this is where the high blood comes in. As you can see, I have taken a mask of damage, but the honey is slowly regenerating, and now it's like I've never taken it. This essentially means that you can't die here, unless you're like super in a hurry or something, and I wouldn't recommend being super in a hurry in such a difficult spot. There's 2 ways to go and both of them suck. I don't know why I thought that was a platform. The fact that everything's got this sort of gray hue to it is a little difficult. The checkpointing in this area is also a little bit brutal. I do hope that I don't sound too complaining. I just don't like this area. I feel like it's really flow breaking. And the platforming and movement in this game is good. It's just, it's not that good. Some of the stuff they expect you to do here is a little unreasonable, in my opinion, given what the game gives you to work with. Fortunately, since I came in prepared, I'm not in any real danger of dying here. But the first time you come into this and you think that you're in a cool new area with some cool new enemies to fight, you might kit yourself out for combat. Well, what you really need to do is kit yourself out to not die. Oh, this is a platform. Right, okay. I think that the ideas presented here are not bad. But it's just... needs work. Execution needs work. They do put occasional soul totems here for you to heal yourself, but the first time through here, it's not enough. Ah, shit. You can still heal yourself when you have the hive blood on. So technically there's no downside to it. It's a very powerful charm. It just takes up a lot of slots. Another problem is it's sort of hard... God damn it. It's hard to see below you while you're bouncing around walls and stuff. Oh. And that's one down, I'm pretty sure. But there's still more to be done. You might recall that earlier there was a fork in the road, and we took the left path. For whatever reason, this very first saw puzzle actually trips me up still quite a bit. A strong mastery of air dashing and whatnot is basically mandatory here. Shit. I didn't let myself get the full lift from the double jump. I have nothing against precision platforming games, ow. It just, I would prefer it if they were more honest about what they were, I guess. This is a very out of place section. Alright, we need to go right this time at the fork. Or am I misremembering? spikes down here. There should be a way to... Alright, I guess I'm misremembering. The other way must be elsewhere. Oh, but now I have to get back down. This is a disaster. It's all well and good to get up there once on your... It's one thing to get up there. It's even harder to get back down because it's not designed for it. Alright, we're fine. Everything's fine. Sort of. Fortunately, since I also have the Grub Song charm equipped, I'm gaining soul each time I get hit. So I'm basically, unless I super fuck up, completely insulated from dying. On the bench, just in case. Get my lifeblood hearts back. I'm trying to remember where I should go. I think that takes me back out into the world. Oh, here we are. This is the right way. If I recall, this path is even harder. Do you guys just not even care that your castle is infested with fucking saw blades? A lot of these jumps are very tight. Ah! I'm gonna die. The thing that just kind of irritates me about this is that, unlike most other hazards, the saw blades will reset your position like spikes. Which is maybe a little punitive. Alright, I remember getting stuck on this for a long ass time. The key is, there is actually room to stop. You just have to judge it correctly. This is where things get a little more difficult. I do this? I know it's possible. I've done this before. I just need to remember exactly which tack I took. No, not that one. There we go. So, of course, we're not out of the woods just yet. These have no room, so I just have to dash for it. And of course, if you fail that, you have to go all the way back to the start. Come on! I need, like, a fighting game hitbox guide for this. Do this. There must be a way. Will this work? Yes. Alright. Perhaps a bit unorthodox, but it'll work. Oh right, I need to do it again. At least they give you a checkpoint there. Okay, need to do that. I guess, like, the interpretation of this could be that this is, like, a representation of the guard's mental defenses. If you wanted to take that tack, I don't know. One lever hit.
Oh!
Oh! Alright, I think that opens the way. Right, here we go. Of course, we're still not quite done with all of this nonsense. You have to bounce off the buggies. At least they give you a bench here. They probably should have been more generous with those in this section. Now, I don't remember the final stretch being too terribly hard. It is if I just stop moving like a dummy. Just trying to remember where to go. That's part of the problem. It can be difficult to discern where you are supposed to be going. Maybe I wall jump off the edge? Shit. No, I don't think that's it. don't get in a rush. That's the surest way to fail. I'm gonna go back down and use the bench again. Trying to find out which way will let me live. I don't think I can make it over the dash. Oh, I think I understand. I need to do a crystal core dash. Maybe a little higher up? I'll remember what to do eventually. Eventually. Could I dash over this? Well, okay, I can. I just need to time it better. Jesus. They gave me a checkpoint on that thing. Go down again. Alright, I remember these things. At least you can sort of line yourself up with the pattern on the ceiling. I'm pretty sure that my shade dash will not actually give me iframes in this particular against environmental hazards, is what I'm trying to say. If it did, that'd be great. No such luck. There we go. Okay, okay. They really make you do some leaps of faith here. How do I even deal with this? Oh, I see. No, the timing is so tight. Alright, I have to... How do I do this? I need to dash off. There we go. Motherfucker. I believe these are the annoying type of spikes that will also kill you if they hit you on the side. I think in a lot of those, it's actually kind of a red herring to try and stick the landing on top of the platform. You just need to jump over and then cling to the wall. What am I even supposed to do here? Ow. can actually cover a lot more distance than you think with a double jump. Case in point. Have to be a little faster. Not that fast. Faster than that. Okay. We good, we good, we good. I like how I still try to check my map out of habit even in here. Game has trained me well. Still not done, by the way. Oh, there's a little bit of room. I didn't die. Oh boy, okay. I guess part of the key is just knowing what elevations are just totally safe. Not that one, that's for sure. Shit. I shouldn't have jumped. I didn't think I made it. Ugh. Oh, with fresh hell do I even do this? Well, I have enough time. I just need to angle my dash a little bit better. Like that. No, I don't think I can actually make it if I do it from here. Save me! Timing was off. This. Not like that. Maybe I need a crystal core there. Crystal core solves all of your problems. That side of the spike wasn't even sharp. Seriously? I should actually stop rushing and let my health regenerate. High blood does seem pretty much tailor-made for this place. Obviously, I did not commit enough of the White Palace to memory. hell's a safe spot? Give me a break. I opened that. Was that good?
Oh.
Am I just backtracking now? Alright, I don't think we've been here. Probably. What am I supposed to do? This is altogether slightly excessive, don't you think? Shit. Just maintaining your altitude puts you in danger. Rude. Very rude. Are we done yet? Please? I think this is the home stretch. Don't quote me on that, though. Here we are. Alright, this is the King Soul, the final charm in the game. To obtain it, you need to find both halves, one from the White Lady in the Queen's Gardens, and one from the Pale King in the White Palace. our goal is right before us, but we do want to do something real quick, including change our charms. Not badges, they're charms. We want to equip this. I guess the Wayward Compass. Quick Slash and, Spore Shroom. Why not Spore Shroom? It's a useful one-cost thing. Alright, this time I'm pretty sure Salubra will sell us what we're after. I don't mind the whole transformation of the Forgotten Crossroads, but I do sort of wish that it didn't block off paths. I think that part is a little excessive. Just make the enemies harder and make it gooier. Anyway, while we have the King's Soul equipped, we will slowly regenerate soul just passively, which is pretty useful. It's probably one of the strongest charms in the game to justify its 5 cost for the slot. Unfortunately, we don't have it for very long. Alright, so that's a little bit vague. But I believe what Salubra's Blessing does is that it allows you to recover soul while resting at a bench, which basically turns all the benches into hot springs. Very nice. Of course, since you can only get it at the very tail end of the game, utility is somewhat limited, but there are still uses for it. Alright, just a little bit more to go. We have to make one final visit to the Abyss. I need to not sneeze on camera. Oh, that was failed. I couldn't reach my mute button in time. Man, I went to all the trouble to set up a clock in my new room so I wouldn't lose track of time, and then it just like immediately runs out of batteries. Life is unfair. Actually, I should rest there just in case. Anyway, we just gotta make our way down again. Which is slightly harder than it should be, because you can only see so far, and a lot of these platforms have spikies on them. that should not have counted for anything. And you know it, game. Need to, like, start a campaign to advocate for responsible usage of spikes. Spikes will not hurt you if you touch them on the side that isn't sharp. I have fought all but one dream boss, and I am going to save that a little bit for later, I think. It depends. I really want to just complete this, because I don't know how long my not having a coldness will last. So if we have time after we beat the final boss, then I might go back and take on the White Defender. So with the King Soul, we can go even deeper. The only enemies in this place are the floating shades, which we can now one-shot. They're not a big deal. We just have to find the right path and not get hit by spikies. There's another arcane egg down here. If by some miracle you are not already overflowing with Geo, there's some more. Ow. There is no map for this area, so that's sort of a pain, but we can't really expect Cornifer to come down here. Maybe Cloth. Cloth probably could have made it with her digging. Excuse me. I sort of forgot that I had to do that. We do not actually have a map for this area because it's technically a flashback, I believe. It's a little difficult to see at this part. So basically, from what I gather from that little sequence is that we did a deep dive into our own memories. The Void Heart is not nearly as useful as the King's Soul, but it's required to get the best ending. And it does have a couple of beneficial effects. The ghosts in the abyss will no longer bother us. And if we die, the shade we leave behind and we need to kill to reclaim our stuff won't attack. Which is nice, I guess. I prefer the regenerating soul, to be honest. That said, the Void Heart doesn't actually cost anything to equip. Those effects always happen, so that's a trade-off, I guess. We visited here yesterday, and I didn't actually have the thing necessary to trigger the event. You need to use your Wailing Soul here, and it will upgrade. Now it does even more damage. Alright, with that out of the way, I do believe we are just about ready to finish this thing. We just need to make our way out of the abyss. Ow. Easier said than done, I guess. We need to make our way out of the abyss, get to the hidden tram station, then go back to Dirtmouth. From there, that's the closest way to the Temple of the Black Egg. Nice to have a charm slot freed up by not carting around Gathering Swarm everywhere anymore. Though, let's be real here, if you want to just make a lot of money in this game, just equip that. You get so much extra geo from just preventing loss from attrition.
Tiema Malava.
Pechuro, no. These bobbies, pera, pera. Aklaba buktis. Emin ba, teprada, bap na not.
Hakana Sagamos. Hakana Sagamos.
This is the final bench in the game, so... Oh, so that's what Salubra's blessing looks like? Okay, that's funny. As you can see, this charm is part of Fair and cannot be unequipped, and it takes up no notches. So, coming up for the final battle... we want to go full combat ready. Quick focus, mark of pride, quick slash. Grub Song might not be bad here. Horns of Agony, maybe? Let's go with Grub Song for now. See if we can make that work. By checking this, you can view your completion percentage in the inventory. 99%. I wonder what I'm missing. I'll worry about it later. To initiate the final boss fight, we first need to break the chains. And there we go. This is the eponymous Hollow Knight. He's not too difficult, actually. Like, I wouldn't say that he's easy, but he's not too difficult. Like Hornet, he has a parry, but it's sort of not a big deal. Especially if you're using, like, the long nail. He can also, shoot Plague Juice. It's not too hard to avoid. It sort of goes in an ascending pattern. I'd say his most dangerous attack is when he, raises up his sword. As the fight goes on, he starts doing some weird shit. Since this plague was seemingly sealed inside of him, that signifies the end of the fight. You can either continue and get one ending, or go for the real shit. This is the real final boss, the Radiance, and the Radiance is fucking hard. All of her attacks do 2 damage, so your primary concern should not be hitting her. It should be dodging. it's been a while since I've done this, so I'm sort of trying to remember exactly what her pattern is. As you can see, it's completely harmless now. It'll come back to us with one shot. Now we just need to rest at the bench for a while, and Salubra's charm will work its magic, and we can get all of our soul back. I would probably say that the Radiance is the hardest fight in the game for a couple of reasons. The first being, you have to fight the Hollow Knight again just to get the chance to challenge it. Fortunately, the Hollow Knight is kind of whatever. I say as I get clobbered. Now, one of the nice things about the Hollow Knight is that it's not particularly unfeasible to just DPS race him. Especially if you got, like, the long nail and the quick strike. He's quite vulnerable getting hopped on the head, too. As are many enemies in this game. Due to the length of his nail, it's easy to get parry animations. I'm honestly unsure if the damage you do while he's in that animation actually counts. As you can see, once you get the rhythm down, that fight can be over very quickly. Now, since you have to have the Shade Dance to even be in this fight, it's sort of balanced around you having it. For instance, I'm pretty sure there's no way to dodge that except for using iframes. Shit. This fight can get very bullet hell. Fortunately, there is a bit of a rhythm to it. Now the arena gets even harder to deal with. You have to deal with the platforms now. They can provide cover from the little sunblasts, but honestly it just makes it harder to get in on her. Shit. That was not the direction that I wanted. Wall jumping can be finicky, I'll say that much. Pretty sure I'm dead. Yeah. That time I got bounced back by the knockback. Unfortunate. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with my progress so far. Like I said, this is a very difficult fight. As I mentioned earlier, the best way to deal with the Hollow Knight is just to be as aggressive as possible. Get this phase of the fight done with as quickly as you can. Heal if you gotta, but by the time you get like the rhythm of this fight down, you probably won't be taking that much damage. It's important when you're just wailing on him like that that you don't just actually go into his hitbox and take damage. That's kind of annoying. Here we are again. Let's hope I do a bit better. It's also important to get as many free hits in on the Radiance as possible. If you can manage it, you sort of want to angle it so that her ball projectiles go into the floor. Because otherwise they'll just sort of fly around and be obnoxious. What the? Where did that even come from? Alright, well that went poorly. I didn't even see half of those balls spawning. Oh well, another perfunctory fight with a Hollow Knight it is. Like I said before, I'm not afraid to take a few hits just to make this go faster. It's not optimal, but taking damage to save time seems perfectly reasonable to me. Alright, let's hope this attempt goes a little bit better. Shit. Sometimes it's kind of annoying that the projectile button and the heal button are the same. Because I didn't mean to shoot a projectile there, but I did. Oops. I wonder if that extra percent is completing the Coliseum of Fools. Not the cleanest fight, but I'll take it.
Get there!
She's cheating to the side where her spikes are all the time, so it's difficult to get hits in. Whew. Afraid I was gonna not be able to thread the needle there. This fake out is your best opportunity to heal in this fight, so I'm gonna take it. Oh my god, I'm getting bodied by those balls. Shit. I need to be a little braver and actually hit her or I'm gonna die. Come on! Oh well. I remember this taking a lot of tries my first time, too. I just need to be better about looking for the, sunball spawning. Honestly, I think that you get a full heal when you complete this fight, so I'm not even going to bother healing. That certainly won't come back to bite me. If nothing else, it's science. Yeah, I get a full heal. Okay. That's nice, at least. I don't have to waste my soul. I think it sort of goes without saying, don't try this fight without a fully upgraded nail and a lot of mass shards. Close, almost took an unnecessary hit there. Have to ration your dashes too, because if she does the ray sweep and you don't have your shade dash up, then you're basically doomed to take damage, and that sucks. Alright, I'm in better shape than I was the last time, so hopefully I can make something happen here. Falling down sucks. It does do damage, but not as much as the boss, so if you have to make a choice. But it's also important to remember that the balls do not explode upon hitting you, only the terrain. So you can get hit by multiples, which is unfortunate. Fortunately, the boss herself doesn't have a hitbox, so you don't take any contact damage. Oh, I didn't even see. My bad. Oh shit, what the hell? Alright, I think we're alright. That was bad. Oh, I think we're gonna make it. We just had to dodge the bolts and get up here. Alright, that was Hollow Knight. In case you couldn't tell by the fact that I streamed the entirety of it, after I'd beaten it once, I really enjoyed this game. Team Cherry did a wonderful job on it, and I would recommend it to anybody who enjoys this sort of thing. So, then again, if you watch me play through the entire thing, maybe you don't want to anymore, so that's my bad if so. Oh, excuse me. The final boss actually took me a little bit more time than I thought it would. I remembered it being hard, but I thought I would remember enough of it to not get owned over and over again, but here we are. I think I will leave the last dream fight for another day, maybe after the DLC drops and we can play through that. Since this is an indie game, it actually has credits of a reasonable length that a human might want to actually sit through and watch. Look for names. Oh, what was I missing? I'll have to look that up. I had all the math shards. Maybe I needed to open that door. I never opened the door to the useless rotten egg man. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. For now, thank you for watching. This is it for Hollow Knight for a little while, at least until the DLC drops. I might do that on stream, or I might do that alone. It depends on how things develop, I guess. Oh, the Trial of Fools. If that does count, I didn't do that. Maybe next time. That one's kind of a pain. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow we're probably going to switch gears a little bit, just do like some ARAMs or maybe some Hearthstone or something, and then I think I will try and start in on Neo. I plan to do that much earlier in the month, but, well... a lot of my time was eaten up by moving boxes, so until then, look forward to it.